Having the Meta Quest 3, I think I can share my review with you. And 20 days or so, I have the Quest. I tried many games, many apps, VR and mixed reality, tried the Passthrough intensively. And of course, there are things that I don't like, things that I really liked, and all of them I'm going to share here in this video with gameplay and other cool stuff, so stay until the end. Now, in terms of size and weight, it feels more or less the same. In terms of size, a 30% slimmer profile, which you can see, which is really nice, of course. Now, I think it also helped distribute the weight better because, again, because of the slim profile, and overall I find it very comfortable. Although I have an accessory that I had on the Quest 2, which I added to the Quest 3 as well, which make it slightly more comfortable. But still, I think that out of the box, because of the new strap structure with the two triangle at the back, it makes it even more comfortable compared to the Quest 2. We now have the pancake lenses, again, which enables this slimmer design. And I think it's according to also reduced glare. There's actually stickers there that say no liquid cleaners. This is because, again, because of the coating. So if you use cleaners, you can just shred it off and basically don't use cleaners on these lenses. The new controllers, well, they're beautiful. I love them. By ring, no longer ring. They're still LED lights, by the way, and it uses both AI and LED lights to track the controller. It does feel more comfortable a bit. Again, the design overall kind of very similar, but again, this little curve there when you put your hands, you can see on the right side, the Quest 3 controller is on the right, this is slightly curved. Also, the color is slightly different. I think it's more whitish with the new controller and more off-white on the Quest 2 controller, but again, both of them are kind of off-white, but the other one is slightly more white. Now, no more situation where you can't open the cover. You have triangle button that you can press, and if you remove the cover, you just need to press it inside. I mean, on each controller, you're gonna find this triangle button. If you press it, it removes the battery cover, so you can easily put a battery in without actually having issues trying to open the cover without success, which happens for many people on the Quest 2. Now, inside the box, you're also going to have the USB to USB cable, so you can charge and also a charger, as you can see here, that you can charge your headset. Now, the official interface comes with the Quest 3 out of the box. It's kind of a soft material. I personally ordered the silicone one because I prefer it, but again, I haven't got it just yet. Now, of course, the headset looks different because of the cameras for the depth scanning that appears on the front in the color pass-through. We're going to talk about this in a moment. This is the power button. And on the right is the diopter adjustment. You can slide it. It's kind of a slider button. Basically, it gives you more control compared to the only three options that are available on the Quest 2, which you needed to do it manually by adjusting the lenses themselves. Here you have this slider button. You can slide and give you more options to adjust the diopter. Keep in mind that the headset does come charged, so does the controllers, so you'll be able to kind of set things up and even try it out for the first time. Mine got with 50% with the headset and full charge for the controllers, so you don't need to charge it first in order to start using it. One of the highlights of the Quest 3 is the new depth scanning feature, which basically allows the headset to scan your environment. This includes the walls, the ceiling, the floor, and just create a digital replica of the structure of your physical space around you. It's not dynamic only in the time that you actually scan it in the first time. I mean, if you play a game, when you move stuff, it won't actually adjust. Only when you start scanning, it will adjust for changes in the physical space. The headset also comes with a First Encounter. This is a pre-installed app developed by Meta to give you kind of access what mixed reality is, optimized for the Quest 3 in for mixed reality, and it plays amazing. It's really fun, kind of more like a tech demo, but a fun color matching game which you can play. Of course, you need to scan first the room, and then the game will begin. So basically what the depth scanning will do, again, as you can see here, is going to mesh my entire room. It's not very high resolution, as you can see the triangles that actually makes the mesh. So it's not a very high resolution, but still good enough. But again, there are some deficiencies, which I'm going to talk about later on. But overall, again, it's a huge difference compared to the Quest 2, both in terms of resolution, which of course is 10 times from what we know. It's color pass-through. And it scans pretty fast, to be honest. And the way you scan, you just move around the environment, look at the ceiling, look at the floor, move around and let it scan until it tells you it's enough. You can always continue, by the way, to make a more precise scan. There's also an option to add furniture as well, like a table or other type of object which can be used, or sometimes certain apps requires that you're going to set them up in order to work. Alright, let's take a look at some gameplay. Help! Hello! Oh, he's climbing the... He's climbing... No way! He's climbing all the objects in the room! That's so cool! Oh, wait, he went behind! He went behind the wardrobe. Where is he? So basically, cute creatures basically interacting with the environment. They appear like it, so they can hide behind and disappear behind and underneath tables and underneath other furniture. The walls, as you can see, destructed, and they appear now virtual, partially realistic. The one thing you need to note that there's no feature right now that actually hide your real hands. So basically, because there's two layers, video and the virtual layer, the video is at the bottom, the virtual is at the top. This means that if you put your real hands underneath, or not underneath, intersecting with the virtual content, they're going to appear there like underneath. In the future, I hope this will be solved. We kind of segment the hands so they can appear on top, not just the hands, the entire body to appear on top of the virtual content. But the developers are kind of having some partial solutions. First of all, if you have a virtual content like a gun, you're going to appear, of course, with on top of any other virtual content that the developer wanted to appear above it. They also, for hand tracking, when you use your hands and there's no other object that you assign to your hands, developers will kind of put some semi-transparent overlay, like a glove, semi-transparent glove that covers your hand. And basically, if your hands are on top of the virtual content, this virtual content that shows where your hands are will actually appear on top of the content. Kind of a semi-solution for it. Hopefully in the future this will be addressed. This is, by the way, a short that I made and just want to show you. You can see the little virtual character climbing the closet, appears on top of it, kind of aggregated into a single short. You can see that he's underneath the table. It's not perfect there, as you can see. Climbing on the walls and falling behind the closet. It's really cool looking at it. Holding the ceiling suddenly. Of course, the entire room will get destroyed soon. And virtual content comes landing, kind of little spaceship landing on the floor. So this really nice visual interaction. Just looks incredible in mixed reality on the Quest 3, and particles falling on the walls. Amazing, absolutely amazing. Now keep in mind, every time I'm making this video, there are quite a lot of those mixed reality experiences. You can use those who are actually available on the Quest 2 as well, but we are really waiting for those who really take use of the mesh, right? The depth scanning. So there are updates for some games that increase the graphic fidelity and also use some, maybe adding a mixed reality mode, but not all of them are super impressive. This is Squiggle, for example. They take some use, for example, just projecting some effects on the wall, but again, this is kind of an extra to a game that always designed not entirely for mixed reality but for VR, but also take use of mixed reality. This is, for example, Just Hoops, again, which again doesn't take use of the mesh, right? It's kind of more augmented reality game. It feels kind of disconnected from the room structure. So keep in mind, there are going to be games, mixed reality games, that are going to take better use of this feature. Some others partially or not at all. One game, for example, that take good use of it is Figmin XR, and it's actually make use of both the mesh. You can decide both the planes or the mesh in order to kind of give you sandbox tools in order to create really cool stuff, interactive stuff if you wish to. And you can actually see here that I'm using the mesh, and you can see that the ball just jumping on top of real world objects. And the cool thing about Figmin XR, it actually allows you to see the mesh. You can see here the mesh, the structure that was scanned. You can see also both the planes if you choose to, or the mesh, so you can visualize how basically apps look at your room, the structure. Because remember, the depth scanning create a digital replica of your entire space around you. But if you're using apps, you won't actually see them, but they are there for the app to interact with. This is, for example, a WebXR demo that I downloaded on the web, visit the page, which allows me to actually just shoot balls, and basically it will project them, and you can see them bumping around based on, you see the mesh structure that I scanned. You can actually see it or hide it. Keep in mind the problem with the depth scanning, because of its resolution, lower resolution, it won't actually scan very small details. Like, we'll do a good job in scanning, for example, the legs of the table, or do a very good job in actually scanning the table as it is, like kind of a very straight lines, geometric lines. And of course, it's going to miss lots of other small objects. It won't be able to actually capture, of course, glass, transparent objects. So again, it's not perfect, but again, remember, on the Quest 2, if I wanted to play a mixed reality game, I need to define all the walls and everything by myself, let alone I couldn't even get a complex structure. But this allows you to see how balls, for example, appear underneath the table, because I use the mesh here. And by the way, if you create a table and some other structure that are predefined using the Quest, it's actually going to block. So if I create a table, it won't be allow balls, for example, to get underneath, which I think it's kind of, I mean, it should be addressed, because if you create a table and there are legs, you should be able to kind of maybe use both of the information in order to create a good structure of the table. But it's not like that right now. And just for comparison, this is on the Quest 2, this is FPS enhanced reality, and basically it took me, I don't know, like an hour to all these planes that you see, I put them myself. There's no depth scanning on the Quest 2, and you can only have planes, and I needed to do it by myself, which was actually very, very annoying to do it manually. It took me a lot of time just to be able to experience it.
Can I just come through the door?
Once I have the result done, I actually really enjoyed it.
Easy. Pull the magazine on the bed. Oh! Why spawns just right next to me? You need something like doors where they just burst through.
But the game, for example, did good use of the basically all the structure that I put there in order to hide enemies behind the table, like you see here. Again, pretty bad game, but for a person who really experienced mixed reality with enemies taking cover in the real world, it was fascinating. So again, it's the limitation of technology, of course, in most part. Now, when I got the Quest 2, actually you can see here, this is the day I actually got the Quest 2, I was so excited. But I have so many issues, and one of them, by the way, was related to performance. Although again, apps were optimized for it, some apps have different type of performance issues. Even the UI, I had some glitches, things didn't work well. Again, it wasn't common, but it was there. Now I can tell you that on the Quest 2, everything's seamless. I never, actually there was one time which I used Sandbox and I put too many 3D models, but other than that, where I actually exaggerated, everything works so seamless without any issues and any drops of frame, just very good performance. Here, by the way, I'm using Immersed app in order to stream console into in mixed reality, basically play console games in mixed reality on the screen. Like, I can decide its size, can play it very large or a very small screen. So again, when you have mixed reality, there's so many things you can experiment with. This is just one of them. But whether it's worth the upgrade, well, it boils down, to be honest with you, to what your expectations are, and also again, what basically apps are there to actually make good use of the Quest 3, both in terms of enhancing, for example, details and textures and visuals, fidelity in general for games, maybe those that were already released for Quest 2 and updated to the Quest 3, and also mixed reality. There are going to be plenty of them, so it's not like it's worth waiting. There already are plenty of apps for you to try, but many more will come very soon and down the road. In terms of mixed reality, I think we are not there yet. I mean, I'm sure very soon we're going to see lots of apps that are optimized for the depth scanning feature, but there are not plenty of them right now, unfortunately. But again, as expected, developers need time. I am sure many developers are working right now as I speak in order to develop some amazing mixed reality games for you. So if you ask me whether it's worth upgrading for the Quest 2 to Quest 3, let's say it like that. If it was just for pure performance, I probably wouldn't get the Quest 3. The key selling point for me was the mixed reality, and telling you hands down, that's the reason I got the Quest 3. Otherwise, I probably would skip and wait for another version. And whether the mixed reality is good, it's amazing. It's not perfect, you're still gonna see some noise with the camera, and it's not super sharp, so don't expect like something Vision Pro-like quality that we've seen. And for watching movies and playing games, for example, or large display inside VR, it's okay, but not great. The reason for this, again, it's comfort, of course, and also, again, if you want to watch a movie, you need to stay in VR for a long time. The sharpness of the screen is good, but not really good enough for me to play games or watch movies in VR. But it is doable, it is good, but not great. And by the way, I did also change from the Quest 2 to Quest 3 to see if there's a big difference in the screen resolution. There's, say, I think 30%. Nonetheless, you can definitely see the difference, and it's quite significant, especially when you compare one near the other. It looks sharper, text looks sharper, just looks better overall, and yeah, so definitely worth it in that aspect. But again, it won't actually lead me to upgrade the headset from the Quest 2 to Quest 3 if it was, for example, just for the sharpness of the screen. Now you can see here, by the way, some of the issues that I had were, basically when you play mixed reality, if you need to kind of enlarge the Guardian larger so you won't actually see it, or reduce the sensitivity. Some things regarding to quality of life features that I want to have when I play mixed reality, because when I play mixed reality, I don't need to see the boundaries. I already see them, right? Because I'm viewing this my room in real time with the video stream. The other thing that was annoying for me, by the way, in mixed reality, that once I scan the room, the mesh, the Quest actually remembers it, but when I load the game, and maybe I close the headset, next day I come, it's not really exactly at the same place. It kind of deviates a bit, which is annoying, and we try to move around, make sure you just get the anchor points correctly, but it's just not aligned properly, and I need to scan the room again, which is annoying. And it does happen very frequently, and that's why I'm mentioning it. Another thing is regarding there's something which I noticed, and I noticed in other people's videos, when I put my hand and I move it on the screen, in front of me in Quest, I can see kind of a distortion. It's actually distort the video feed for some reason, and it happens all the time. So basically, if I move my hand and move it across the screen, I see distortion. Is it ruining the experience? No, but it is kind of interfering to some degree. The other thing is regarding battery, by the way, mixed reality consume a lot of battery. I'm just telling you again, I expected this. I remember from even AR when I use it on a mobile phone, it was draining batteries like crazy. Here also, it's consuming, of course, because the camera is recording all the time and other sensors are working, of course, as well. And all of this together with the virtual content consume quite a lot of power. Now, I haven't benchmarked it, but just keep in mind that you can expect higher power consumption considerably if you are using mixed reality. So overall, so far, am I happy? Yes, absolutely yes. It's definitely worth buying. And for me, the reason for it is mixed reality. Most of the time I'm spending better with mixed reality than virtual reality. But because there are not a lot of things, I actually dive into XR, WebXR to find some other things to play around with. And there are quite a few, don't get me wrong, but definitely the best is yet to come. So overall, it's definitely worth it, both instead of the XR, of course, which is miles away compared to the Quest 2. Performance is great, really smooth, without issues. Visual clarity significantly improved, at least it feels like it. It's not a huge difference based on stats, but when you look at it visually, you see the difference compared to the Quest 2. And because everything here, the experiences are visual, it's a very, very important upgrade. The new controllers feel great. The diopter adjustment is great because it allows you for more fine-tuning, so I really get very clear visuals. The headset itself is slimmer, which is great as well. In terms of weight distribution, does feel also good, and the headset is out of the box, feels very comfortable, especially with the new design of the straps. It just feels better at the back of the head. You're gonna have also apps that are gonna be upgraded to the Quest 3. They're gonna look better overall. This is not the key selling point for me, but this is something you can expect for many games to be adjusted so they just play better visually on the Quest 3, both maybe visuals and performance as well. And that's it for this video. That's my thoughts. If you have other thoughts, in the comment section below, share your negatives and positive as well. What you like, what you didn't like. I'll see you on the next video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheers.